My name is Daphne. I live in San Pedro, California, and I have Moebius Syndrome.
Hello, my name is Roland Bienvenu. I am 65 years old, reside in the Houston, Texas area, and as you can see, I have Moebius Syndrome.
My name is Leslie Dashlear, and I live in Port Orange, Florida during the winter months and Charlevoix, Michigan during the summer months. I am retired, and I am a wife, mother, and grandmother. I was born back in the 1950s with Moebius Syndrome.
I'm Cheyenne Owens. I'm 25 years old. I'm from Nampa, Idaho, and I just got married and moved to Bismarck, North Dakota. I have mild Moebius. In my left hand, this has no bones or cartilage in it. And when I was little, they wanted to amputate this because they thought I would snag it on stuff as I played, but obviously I didn't.
If you listen for smiles, you will hear them and see them. A smile is a gift, and I would suggest that you share your smile. It doesn't cost you anything. For us, we're not able to do that, but just to smile at someone and say, have a nice day, you never know when that will make someone's day. You have that ability. And so please share your smile.
I guess I'm supposed to talk about what it's like having Moebius, how it affects me. For those of you that don't know what it's like to have a neurological disorder, it sucks, but then it also is something you forget about. I mean, it's not like I wake up every morning and I have to reconfirm that I have Moebius syndrome. It's just sort of there, and the only time I think about it is when I notice other people are wondering what's wrong with my face or certain things like that.
So my face was paralyzed on my right side when I was born, and my parents didn't know I was going to have Moebius syndrome before I was born. And at 5 years old, at the Shriners Hospital in Salt Lake City, they did a nerve transplant from my left calf, and they cut in front of my ear, stretched it under my nose, and stretched it all the way across. And then at 6 years old, I had a muscle transplant from my upper right side into my cheek, and then I had a third surgery to shorten the muscle in my cheek.
I had severely crossed eyes. My head was very lopsided. My tongue curled off to one side, and I couldn't nurse properly. I had facial paralysis, and my eyes did not turn from side to side, and they did not close properly, and I can't blink.
I was diagnosed at age 5. My father was a career Navy officer, so we moved around quite a bit as I was growing up. To tell you more about me and how Moebius has affected me, basically, of course, Moebius means that you're either lacking the 6th and 7th cranial nerves, which control your eye movement, lateral eye movement, and your ability to show facial expression. In other words, to wink, smile, frown. And some people are a bit different in that they may be They may have the sixth and seventh nerves, but they're not functioning. So the net result is the same. In my case, I'm missing those nerves, and that was established just last year when I had an MRI done at the National Institute of Health as part of a Moebius study. It's affected me in various ways, and a lot of us with Moebius are affected in the same way, a similar way, and sometimes really no two cases are alike. It just depends. In my case, it's affected my ability to socialize. It's, sort of awkward being in social situations, and it still is to some extent. I am divorced, and I've had 2 relationships since I was divorced, but both were unsuccessful. A lot of people, other people with Moebius, it's really the same thing with them. Others have been happily married for years, so it really runs the gamut.
And will talk to me as if I have the vocabulary comprehension of like a 6-year-old. I talk slow because I'm trying to formulate well thought out sentences, not because I can't think for myself or that I'm in some weird vegetative state. I'm perfectly capable of achieving the things that other people achieve.
I got my bachelor's degree in psychology at Boise State University, and I'm pursuing my master's in occupational therapy because when I was little, I had an occupational therapist, and I saw how much it changed my life, and I would like to be able to help others since I can relate to them on a personal basis.
It's necessary that I communicate and articulate exactly what my experiences growing up with Moebius have been like, because the world needs to know. We need to be more vocal about this so that future generations can live an easier life.
Spreading awareness about the condition is always a good thing to do because it's very rare and not that many people know about it. I mean, in the real world, everybody can smile. In my world, I know a lot of people that cannot smile.
This is the first novel, to my knowledge, that has a main Moebius character, and Vic, I think, was very true to life. I think David Arnold took extra steps to make sure that Vic was accurately portrayed, and he got my input as well as the input of others with Moebius. So what Vic experiences and expresses in this book, I think, is true to life for many of us.
It's so refreshing to read a book that doesn't marginalize a character who deals with a physical disability. It's not a one-dimensional account of what it's like to have a physical disability. It's just about a kid trying to find his way in life, trying to deal with loss and falling in love. And the result you get is this beautiful coming of age story that inspires you to go out and make the most of your life and appreciate the things you have and the people who love you. Also expand the capacity you have for compassion and sympathy. These sort of books make me feel like the world would be a better place if we all exercised our ability to understand other people's lives and perspectives instead of immediately disliking anything that's different or something you're unaccustomed to.
I thought David did a good job with his character Vic. I think he accurately portrays a young male with Moebius. You know, we all are pretty well different people, yet we have a lot of the same experiences because we have Moebius, and they're not all good experiences. There are a lot of being mistreated, but in a lot of ways it's made us wiser, and I believe that Vic portrays some of that wisdom.
The most important thing for me was that David would get Vic right, do an accurate portrayal of Vic as a young man with Moebius, and I think he's accomplished that. I believe there's some teasing that goes on in the book. Well, a lot of us are subject to that, even heavy amounts of bullying.
I thought it was really refreshing to read about a main character with Moebius. It was easy to relate to his struggles of dealing with other people's perceptions about his differences and how he dealt with other people's reactions and his own feelings about himself and his self-worth. Having more characters with visible differences, I feel would be especially helpful to children as they grow up, because it would help them not feel so isolated and different, since there's such a lack of characters with disabilities.
I don't think there's anyone in this world that wouldn't benefit from getting to know Vic.
If there's one thing that I'd want people to know about Moebius Syndrome, what would that be? For me, the main thing is just not to be so judgmental about us. It's not that we want everyone to know and understand what Moebius Syndrome is, but when they see us with these faces that can't be animated, we can't show emotion because we can't smile, wink, etc. Well, that doesn't mean that we're lacking intelligence. Some people stare at us. We get a lot of stares, and then they're they're probably thinking, well, what's wrong with this person? Did he or she have a stroke or an accident? Are they intellectually challenged?
People with Moebius want to be accepted just like everybody else. Anybody with any difference, I think, wants to be accepted.
Myself, unembellished, not trying, just who I am naturally is an okay person to be.
We're just like everyone else, and we don't want to be treated any differently.